Have you ever stopped to think about what really holds our world together? I mean, we think of Earth as this big, solid, stable rock beneath our feet, but so much of our reality is balanced on one simple, constant motion. Today, we're going to explore what happens if we stop that motion.
So what if, in just a single instant, the whole planet just stopped? It's a pretty wild thought experiment, right? But diving into it really shows you just how incredibly dynamic our world is. And to really get a grip on the consequences, we first have to understand the insane momentum we all have right this second.
Right now, at the equator, the Earth is spinning at over 1,600 kilometers an hour. That means you, your house, the oceans, even the air you're breathing, all of it is hurtling eastward at supersonic speeds. The only reason we don't feel it is because everything is moving together, until, of course, it isn't.
All right, so let's start the clock on our little catastrophe here. What happens in that first incredibly violent second after someone slams the brakes on a planetary scale?
Imagine it. Boom. The solid ground beneath your feet comes to a dead, complete stop.
And here's the real problem. It all comes down to inertia. You know, that fundamental law of physics. An object in motion stays in motion. So while the planet itself might have stopped, everything and everyone on its surface still has all that forward momentum. The result? Well, it's pretty brutal.
Everything not literally anchored to the planet's core would be instantly launched eastward at over 1,600 kilometers an hour. Buildings would be shredded from their foundations, cars, trees, people, animals. Everything becomes a projectile in this catastrophic global sweep.
And that initial shock, as horrible as it is really just the beginning. In that first hour, the planet's own elements turn against the surface with just unimaginable force.
Remember how the air was also moving along with the planet? Well, it doesn't stop either. This would kick up winds faster than any storm we've ever recorded, a global gale, literally scouring the face of the Earth.
And we're not just talking about a big hurricane. No, this is a planet-wide windstorm so powerful it would literally erode the surface of the continents, wiping entire cities and forests clean off the map.
Now, while all of that is happening, another catastrophe is unfolding. The planet's huge oceans, with all their incredible mass and momentum, just keep on surging forward, completely unchecked.
This inertia would create tsunamis on a planetary scale. Don't think of waves hitting a coastline. Think of massive walls of water washing over entire continents. We're talking about a global flood of truly epic proportions.
Okay, so if anything, and I mean anything, could possibly survive that first hour, the long-term reality of a non-spinning Earth would be just as grim. Let's take a look at what our planet would become after just 1 year.
First off, our 24-hour day? That's gone. Instead, one side of the Earth would face the sun for 6 months straight, boiling the oceans and baking the land into a desert. The other side, it would be plunged into a 6-month night, a frozen abyssal wasteland.
And get this, the actual geography of the planet would start to warp. The Earth's spin creates a slight bulge around the equator that kind of holds the oceans in place. Without that force, gravity would just take over. The oceans would slowly drain away towards the poles, creating two brand new, massive polar oceans and exposing a new supercontinent all around the equator.
So the surface has been scoured, flooded, and then either baked or frozen solid. But there are even more fundamental, invisible changes happening that would seal the planet's fate for good.
Yeah, beyond all the destruction you can see, there's an even bigger threat. Earth is protected by this invisible force field, and that shield is directly connected to its spin.
I'm talking about our magnetic field. The spinning of the Earth's molten iron core works like a giant engine, a dynamo, generating this field that protects us from all sorts of deadly radiation streaming from the sun. If the planet stops spinning, that engine starts to wind down.
And the consequences of that are, well, they're dire. The shield goes away. The planet gets bombarded by the sun's radiation, and the surface becomes completely uninhabitable. Any life that was left would be sterilized. Game over.
Now, on a slightly less apocalyptic note, here's a fascinating little side effect. That same rotational force that wants to fling everything eastward also slightly counteracts gravity. So without that centrifugal push, you'd feel the full, unimpeded pull of gravity. You'd feel just a tiny bit heavier. Weird, right?
Okay, after all of that doom and gloom, let's just take a breath. Scientists are very, very clear about this.
There's no known force that could just suddenly stop the Earth from spinning. This is purely a thought experiment.
But it is a powerful one. It reminds us that our world, which seems so stable, is actually this incredibly complex, dynamic system. It really makes you wonder if our entire existence hangs in the balance because of something as simple as a constant spin. What other invisible forces are out there, all perfectly balanced, just to make life here possible?